Glad I came across this one. It's How to Survive the World's Longest Flight. Basically, it's an article that talks about how to cope with and manage the situation that people are presented with when they're flying across the world. A 20-hour flight, for example, no layovers, nonstop. This can be challenging, and if you've never been on a flight like this before, it could scare you to go on one. And if you have been on one before and you've experienced discomfort, then maybe some of these things, which are pretty obvious, but it's good to be reminded of some of these things that you could think about, keep in the back of your mind, and it'll probably help you to make your flights a little more comfortable, especially on the long haul flights. So imagine boarding a plane knowing you won't touch the ground again for nearly 20 hours. No layovers, no breaks, just you and the cabin. No breaks means you're not going to have any layovers, you're not going to land anywhere. You're basically stuck in the flying tube for, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 hours. That's a long time. So, yeah, when you are on the world's longest commercial flight, that is when it becomes a challenge for a lot of people. It's a true test of endurance, of mindset, and of strategy of how to deal with it. So let's get into like the journey, the distance, duration, and logistics. These ultra long flights span almost 7,000 miles. That'll get you about 20 hours of flight time and crossing multiple time zones. This is obviously enabled by cutting edge aircraft that are designed for fuel efficiency, that they can go that long of a range without refueling. And they also operate relatively quiet. It's a marvel of modern aviation. But behind the scenes, the airlines juggle complex logistics, rotating flight crews, managing fuel and weight, and planning meals that align with the destination time zones. Now, what happens to your body at 35,000 feet? Spending nearly a full day in the air affects more than your patience. It challenges your psychology, your physiology as well. Low humidity can dehydrate you, and reduced oxygen levels can cause fatigue and dizziness. Your taste buds dull, making meals less flavorful. By the way, and that's probably why I feel that I've never really had bad airplane food. It could be just personal preference, or it could be just that, I don't know, maybe it's just the taste buds aren't as sharp and are unable to distinguish between good and bad tasting foods. But I think it's a combination of both. Also, sitting still for hours can lead to swelling and discomfort. But you definitely do not have to be flying to experience some of these feelings like discomfort or even in some cases swelling, because if you are working in an office environment where you're sitting down for a prolonged period of time, or even just sitting in a car, driving for a long time, or just sitting in a car if you're a bus driver, things of that nature, that can lead to these kind of situations where you have discomfort and even swelling and other circulatory issues. Potentially. However, when you are on an airplane, it could be a little bit worse because you're basically in a confined environment and a little bit more limited in the things that you can do. But there are some things you can do according to the pro travelers. Tips from seasoned flyers are that you could move every few hours to boost circulation, and just to remember to do that intermittently, especially on long haul flights. And some of these things are kind of common sense. They're pretty obvious, but it's nice as a reminder. So, yeah, and also staying hydrated. That's a big one. I myself try to drink a lot of fluids, and I take advantage of the frequent meals that come around and the servings of fluids that are available to me, like water, diet soda, that keep me hydrated on a long haul flight and keeps my thirst quenched. And I know you're supposed to avoid caffeine and definitely alcohol because they can serve to dehydrate you. But I find that the caffeine in soda, at least in my experience, doesn't really bother me that much. It doesn't stimulate me. It doesn't make me feel dehydrated in any way. That's just how it affects me. Maybe it's because the caffeine is not in high enough quantity and it's diluted in that carbonated water that the soda is made with. So it probably is not that impactful compared to the caffeine in, say, coffee, for example. So yeah, also wearing compression socks to stretch regularly could also help to reduce swelling, combat circulatory issues that could arise from being in a sitting position, in an uncomfortable sitting position, let's say, for a period of time. And these seats can become uncomfortable, even if in the beginning or of a short flight, they can be tolerated. In a long flight, like 15, 20 hours, things can get really bad as far as how comfortable you are in a seat. And even if it's a comfortable seat, just sitting in the same position is not ideal for long-term comfort on a flight. So you want to definitely wear compression socks. That helps, I guess, for the circulation, and then also to stretch regularly, whether you're sitting down or just get up and walk around the cabin for a little bit, even just for a few minutes. That could help a lot. Also, airlines have designed policies and strategies for making passengers have a better flight in long haul flight situations. So they use airlines use lighting systems inside the cabin to mimic sunrise and sunset to reset your internal clock. Meals that are distributed every so often through the cabin are supposedly timed to match your destination's schedule. Even economy seats offer better cushions and reclining angles than the economy seats in some of the flights on airlines that don't go very far, just a few hours. So I think that is true. I think I have experienced that the economy seats, the cheap seats, are actually a little better on the airlines that fly longer distances for obvious reasons. People just wouldn't be able to tolerate it. But yeah, and while premium cabins like, say, first class and whatever other premium designation these airlines have, those seats, of course, some of them feature the lie flat beds, which is a whole world of comfort better than the regular seats. Sleep kits are distributed in some cabins, on some seats, and also curated entertainment makes a big difference as it kind of keeps your mind occupied, keeps you from getting bored, and it may help to reduce the perceived discomfort and may even do the opposite and give you a sensation of pleasure when you're flying because you're not going to be bored. You're going to be occupied watching something or listening to music or something that makes you feel good. Another thing that people can do to make these long haul flights more bearable is to wear soft layered clothing. A lot of people wear sweats, hoodies, even like pajama type clothes I've seen. I just like to wear comfortable jeans and comfortable shirt, something that is not too tight, not too restrictive, the materials that feel soft. So I think this kind of makes sense. Eye masks and neck pillows are an option as well for a lot of people that want to sleep on the plane and they want that extra darkness by covering their eyes with something, and the neck pillows as well if they want that extra support. And it's needed if you want to avoid a stiff neck, depending on the contour of your own neck and the seat that you're in. Preloaded movies and podcasts and audiobooks. I think I touched a little bit on this before, but having these things at the ready can be good for just passing the time and making the hours go by a little faster. Another thing that you could do is to pack healthy snacks like nuts, fruit, and protein bars for the long flight. You never know, even though they serve food, there might be some things that you don't like, or you might get hungry in between meals and you want something light just to get you through the next couple of hours. And definitely, I would suggest if you want to avoid the headaches or the risk of not being able to bring something through security, like a protein bar, snack, or some kind of liquid, then I think that you should just get them at the convenience stores that they have next to the gates at airports. So that's after you pass security, buy them at that point. That way you can bring them on the plane. And there's another strategy that I've never done, but it kind of makes sense, especially if it's a long haul flight and you're going to a totally different time zone. Some travelers even try to adjust their sleep schedule days in advance to sync with their arrival time of wherever they're going. And this can be good because when you're crossing so many time zones, that can wreak havoc on your sleep cycle. And the smart flyers, they think of everything. I have to admit, I've never done that before, but it does make sense to do, I think. And yeah, the smartest flyers use also light exposure, not caffeine, to stay awake. Airlines even take this into consideration by dimming the cabin lights during the night hours and gradually brighten them before landing. Upon arrival, sunlight, movement, and hydration are your best tools to bounce back quickly. But at the end of the day, is it all worth it? And I think it really is worth it, guys. Especially if you're a business traveler, you may value getting to your destination fast, as opposed to maybe a person that is just a regular traveler for leisure. Then if you're going for the most budget-friendly travel experience, maybe getting an airplane flight that has layovers as opposed to nonstop could be cheaper in certain situations. You just have to price that out. It depends on the time of year that you go and the destination and how in demand those tickets are. But at the end of the day, it's all up to you. If you have challenges with maybe stiffness in the muscles or joints, or are prone to swelling or circulatory problems, then you may, upon the advice of your doctor, want to break up the long flights into smaller flights, and the layover option is maybe better for you. But for myself, I have to take that into consideration too, because I have motion sickness. So I got to think about, is it better to break it up into multiple flights or just get it over with one long flight? But one good thing is that the airlines, like I said in this video, really have come a long way, and they are doing things behind the scenes to really impact us in a positive way, to try to make the long haul travel experience at least manageable. And I think that's a good thing. And some airlines do it better than others. But at the end of the day, it's all up to you. There are other things to worry about that are going to be more important, I think, especially nowadays, like having enough air traffic controllers and security people to keep things moving efficiently at the airport, and keeping the airlines on schedule, the flights on schedule to avoid delays, and of course, weather. So there's a lot of options out there, a lot of pricing options. You can go on the internet and price different scenarios, nonstop and the ones with layovers, and see what you get and see what you value the most. But at the end of the day, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got something out of it, even though most of it was obvious common sense stuff that you probably already know. But thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one.